Today we are going to start with a new chapter, call it as Constructor and Destructor. It is the first session of this chapter. On this chapter you will come to know what do you mean by constructor, the types of constructor, how to declare the constructor, rules to write constructor, types, destructor. Regarding that you come to know on this chapter. Then what do you mean by constructor? Constructor is a special member function used to initialize the object of a class automatically. Constructor is a special member function. It is used to initialize. It is mainly used for initialization purpose, not for calculation purpose. It is mainly used to initialize the object of a class automatically. Whereas on this chapter, the total weightage of this chapter is 7 marks. Out of 7 marks, 2 marks 1 question as well as 5 marks 1 question they will ask in the annual exam. 2 marks 1 question, that is on part B, and 5 marks 1 question, that is on part D they will ask. First question they may go to ask, what do you mean by constructor? Write the rules of constructor. Otherwise, what is constructor? Explain the types of constructor with syntax and example program. Otherwise they will going to ask, what do you mean by destructor? How it can be declared? What is the rules and how to write the program? Regarding that they will going to ask in the annual exam. Already I told you the definition of constructor. Constructor is a special member function used to initialize the object of a class automatically. If I want to write any constructor, some rules and regulations we have to follow. Under that, first rules is class name as well as function name must and should be same. Class name and function name are same. This is the first rules while writing the constructor we have to follow. This we will explain with syntax as well as example. For example, I am to declaring a class name. Class name. Here, for example, in private section we are declaring the variable. For example, int a is the variable which we are declaring in private section. Then in public section, once again we used to write class name bracket, empty bracket, that is class name function. Then here I declaring a equals 0, then close this function, later on close the class. That is the syntax. Here class name as well as function name are same. I am going to explain to an example also. Class add. Add is the class name. Here in private section we are declaring the variable private int a. Then in public section we are declaring the function add only, once again add function. Here we are declaring a equals 0, close this function, then close the class. This is the first rules to write any constructor. Class name as well as function name are same. See the example, add is the class name, here add is the function name. That is the first rule. To declare any constructor, class name and function name are same. Then what is the second point? It should be declared in public section. Compulsory, we have to declare any constructor in public section only. First rule, class name and function name are same. Second one, must and should, it has to be declared in public section. See here also add is the class name, add is the function name. This we are declared in public section. This is the second rules to write a constructor. Then third name, it does not have any written type specifier. It does not have any written type specifier, not even void. For other function, in the beginning we used to write int, char or float like that. Otherwise, we used to write void also. Is it for some time? But here, for constructor, we does not require any written type specifier. Does not require. Does not require return type specifier. Return type specifier. It does not require return type specifier, not even void also. This is the third rule to write a constructor. Class name and function name are same. It should be declared in public section. It does not have return type specifier, not even void also. This is the third rule. Then it is not possible to refer the address of the constructor. Not possible. Not possible to refer the address. Refer the address of the constructor. Where exactly in the memory the constructor is present, that is not possible to identify. It is not possible to refer the address of the constructor. First rule, class name and function name are same. This is the syntax and this is the example. In example, how we are written? Add is the class name, add is the function name. Class name and function name are same. It should be declared in public section. It does not have any return type specifier, not even void. Here it is not possible to refer the address of the constructor. And this constructor function will execute automatically when we are going to create the object of a class. It will execute when we create object of a class. This it will execute automatically when we create object of a class automatically. For other function, what we are doing? Class, that is class name, object will create. Then to call the function, object name dot function name we are writing. Whereas here to call this function, we does not require object name dot function name. When we are going to create an object, immediately by itself, by implicitly, it will going to call this function. And it uses new and delete operator. It will go to use new and delete operator whenever it requires memory. By implicitly, by itself, it will go to call new and delete operator whenever memory is required for the constructor. And we can able to write both inside as well as outside also. We can able to write the statement of this constructor both inside as well as outside also. We can able to define the functions. We can able to define, we can able to declare as well as define outside the class also. Here, these are the few rules to write a constructor. Class name and function name are same. It should be declared in public section. It does not have return type specifier, not even void also. It is not possible to refer the address of the constructor. It executes when we are going to create object of a class automatically by itself. It is going to execute when we are going to create object of a class. And by implicitly it uses new and delete operator whenever memory requirement is there. And we can able to define this constructor function both inside the class as well as outside the class. It's a 5 marks question. In the exam they are going to ask, what do you mean by constructor? Write the rules to write constructor. Otherwise, what is constructor? Write the syntax as well as example for constructor. This is the syntax and this is the example. In the syntax, see class name, class function name are same. Here also add, here also add. It may have arguments or it may not have argument also. If does not have any argument, then we used to call it as it is a default constructor. If you have arguments, then we used to call it as it is a parameterized constructor. That you will come to know in the next session. Whereas here constructor rules is class name, function name are same. It should be declared in public section. It does not have return type specifier. It is not possible to refer the address of the constructor. It executes when we are going to create object of a class. And new and delete operators are used implicitly whenever memory requirement is there. And we can able to define both inside as well as outside the class. This constructor, this is a syntax to write constructor. And with that, now I am going to explain how to write a program by using constructor. I am going to explain one program to write constructor. For example, I want to find the sum of the series. Write a program to find sum of series. Sum equals 1 plus x square plus x cube plus up to x to the power of n. Consider this is the series by using constructor. Then how to write the program for this one? See the equation, that is sum equals 1 plus x square plus x cube up to x to the power of n. This is the series here we have. For this we have to write the program. As usual, first start with the header file as include iostream.h. This is the supporting header file for cin as well as cout. Next header file as include conio.h. This is the supporting header file for clear screen as well as getch function. Next as include math.h. This is the supporting header file to perform power function. See the equation here, sum equals 1 plus x square, x cube, x to the power of n. We have power option. Power function work ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ we require this math.h header file. By mistake ಆಗಿ ನೀವು math.h header file ಅನ್ನು ಬರ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ when you are going to compile the program, on that time you will get the error prototype missing. Prototype missing andre some header files are missed. Now we have to start with the program. Class, what is the aim of our program? Is to find sum of the series by using power. Then that's why I am to write the class name is power. Here class name we are given as power. Then in private section we are declaring the variables. Which are the variables we required? In integer format we are declaring to store the result sum. Then we need x, for last power n, for incrementation purpose I. For example, if I am going to write sum equals, for x I am going to give it as 2, for n also I am going to give it as 2. Then how it will going to find 1 plus 2 plus 2 to the power of 2. If you don't have any variable in the power, you can write 1. Then the final result will be 1 plus 2 plus 4, that is 3 plus 4, that is 7. Like this it will find the series. That's why we require the variable here int sum x n for incrementation purpose I. Then in public section we are declaring the function. First function, that is default constructor function I am taking. It is default constructor power. Class name as well as function name are same. Here I am initializing sum equals 1. Then close this function. See this part up to here we are declared, that is sum equals 1. Next I am going to take void get data function. First function, power is the first function, get data is the second function, whereas this is constructor function and this is regular function. Void compute function, then void display function, then finally close the class. Here we have opened, no, that here we have closed it. It means that in this totally we have 4 function. One is power function, that is constructor function, get data function, compute function, display function. These 3 are regular function, whereas here constructor function. Now one by one we have to write the statement outside the class. First I am to write the statement regarding get data. Then what is the return type here? We have void. Then the class name we are given as power. Then scope resolution operator. We are writing the function of get data. Get data function. Here we are written semicolon, but here we are not writing any semicolon because here we are just declaring, now we are writing the statement of this get data function. That's why don't put any semicolon here. Here cout insertion operator, enter x and n values. Next cin extraction operator x, extraction operator n. Close this function. get data function we are written. Next I am going to write the compute function void. Class name we are given as power, scope resolution operator, compute function. On this, what is our aim? To find sum of the given series. That's why here, if I don't have any power here, x empty we can write x to the power of 1. Then power comes from 1, 2, 3 up to n. That's why we can start for I equals. Don't start from 0. The power we are writing, that's why the power start from 1. I equals 1. I is less than or equals to n, I plus plus. ನೀವೇನಾದರೂ I is less than or equals to n minus 1 ಅಂತ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ಪವರ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಲೆಸ್ ದನ್ 1 ಆಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ n minus 1 ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಹಿಯರ್ ಯು ಟು ರೈಟ್ I is less than or equals to n. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ -1 ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ಪವರ್ 3 ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಪವರ್ 2 ಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಪ್ ಟು ಪವರ್ ವೇರ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಟಿಲ್ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ I is less than or equals to n we have to write. Then what is the calculation? Now the series we have to write sum equals sum, that is sum equals 1 plus power, power function, power of x comma I, then semicolon. Now first time x comma I power function x to the power of 1 it will take, the next x to the power of 2 it will take up to I is less than or equals to n till that this function will work. Then close this function. Now here we have closed this function. For loop don't put semicolon, it's a looping purpose, that's why don't put any semicolon here. Next we want to write the display function void power then scope resolution operator display function. On this display function we want to display the result, that's why cout insertion operator, the sum of the series equals, then display the value where exactly the result is present on sum. That's why insertion operator sum we will write. Then close this display function. Now we will write the main program. In the main program void main. On this create the object. How to create the object? That is class name power, then object we will write. We are creating the object. When we are going to create the object, immediately this constructor function by itself it will going to execute. No need to call this function separately. While writing the rules of constructor only I told you, when we are going to create the object, immediately the constructor function it will going to execute automatically by itself. Next call the function one by one. Clear screen, CLR, SCR. Call the function object dot get data function, then object dot compute function, last object dot display function, then get ch. Finally close the main program which you opened. Now once again I am to recall all these things. Today whatever thing I explained, constructor is a special member function used to initialize the object of a class automatically. Then while writing the rules for constructor, class name and function name are same. It should be declared in public section. It does not have any return type specifier, not even void also. And when you are going to create the object, this constructor function will execute automatically. By itself, implicitly it will go to call new and delete operator whenever memory requirement is there. Then next after that, it is not possible to refer the address of the constructor. While writing the program, this is supporting header file for cin as well as cout. Then next for clear screen as well as get ch. For this power function, if I want to work this power function, then compulsory I require this math.h header file. Then class name is power, function name is also power. It is declared in public section. It does not have any return type specifier, not even void also. This is a program to write program to find sum of the series 1 plus x to the power of n. Next class I am to explain regarding the types of constructor. Thank you for all of you.